Hello Miners and welcome back. This week a little bit of a story before we get into the deck. So if you see my last couple of videos, you've been seeing that I've been getting absolutely wrecked by a Sowing Mycospawn lately, which is definitely a card that I kind of just completely overlooked during spoiler seasons for Modern Horizons 3. And the fact that this thing is coming out and just destroying 2 lands and basically just taking me completely out of the game on its own made me think that, you know what? After getting wrecked by this thing multiple times, I feel like being the bad guy and playing it myself. So today, we are playing a deck based around Sowing Mycospawn. We are playing Eldrazi Post, which is kind of the new evolution of the classic Legacy Big Mana deck 12 Post, which is kind of like the Legacy version of Tron for the most part, but it has gotten a ton of upgrades with Modern Horizons 3 in the format. Planar Nexus, counting as every single land type, means that it powers up your Urza's Towers to produce 3 mana with only 2 cards on the battlefield. It counts for your Cloud Post for their count of Locusts. It counts for your Glimmer Post for Locusts as well. It just fills every single role you can and is ultimately the most important card in the deck, because it enables all of your big mana crazy stuff going on. It also kind of has a secret mode that a lot of people don't use, but it does actually pop up pretty regularly, is the fact that it can filter your colorless mana into colored mana to be able to cast your colored spells, such as your crop rotations, your Once Upon a Time, to be able to find more fuel to keep going with what you're trying to do here. So this also has a couple other big additions coming from Modern Horizons 3 in the form of Vexing Bauble and Disruptor Flute, which are both just great Staxy hate pieces to allow this deck to get into the late game, which is where you want to go, because you get into the late game and you're just going to absolutely take the game over, snowballing with the One Ring, Karn, and a Karn Wishboard, and then just finishing off the game with 2 of the big Eldrazi Titans with Ulamog Ceaseless Hunter or Emrakul the Aeon Torrent to just close the game out. It also gives you the mana quickly to be able to kick a Sowing Mycospawn. And some things to note about Mycospawn also is that its cast ability, you get to search any land out of your deck and it enters the battlefield untapped. So it can be a form of ramp, it can be a form of finding a utility land, acting as additional versions of crop rotation. Also, the kicked form where it says exile target land, notice it doesn't say non-basic. You can blow up basics with this. So that's how it turns into a double land destruction spell, is you'll kick it, you exile one of their lands, go grab a wasteland, blow up another one, and you're leaving behind a 3/3 body to boot, which, I mean, it's not a huge body, but like, it's a Delver-sized body. It is a clock in and of itself, and you're taking your opponent off of 2 lands, or you're progressing your game state. And you can use it, like I said, as another form of crop rotation to be able to find any of your utility lands to be able to fit any specific situation here or there. But yeah, sideboard is pretty much just stopping your opponent from stopping you for the most part. You've got Dismembers to get rid of problematic creatures, Leyline of the Void to stop any super fast graveyard shenanigan bullshit going on, Force of Vigor to shut down any kind of artifact or enchantment style hate cards that are going to shut down your searching abilities or your One Ring. And then you've got a pretty slim Karn Wishboard. One thing to note is that the deck doesn't have the typical liquid metal coating that a lot of these Karn boards normally have, but that's because of the fact that you're not looking to systematically pick off one land after another. Your hope is that you're going to just kind of have a big swing in terms of lands with the Helm of Sowing Mycospawn to take your opponent off of mana and to just drown your opponent out with the pure amount of mana you're going to have between all of your Cloud Posts, your Urza's Tower, stuff like that. And then eventually just close the game out with a Mycosynth Lattice to just lock your opponent out of the game. And at that point, you can start picking off your opponent's lands with Karn if you want to. But it's more of a, it's not meant to be the like value-y kind of Karn board the way that a lot of them are. It's more meant to be able to have specific silver bullets and then just the game's over button right then and there. So let's take this through a league, see how it does, see if this Eldrazi fungus can wreck our opponents the way that I got wrecked over the past couple of weeks with it. And I will catch you all in the wrap-up. Alright, won the die roll. Let's see if we can blow up some lands. Yeah, I think we just keep this. We're kind of just hoping we don't get absolutely wrecked by Wasteland right here, but we're going to try to turn 2 Karn, and then depending on what we draw, we're either going to turn 3 or turn 4 a Sowing Mycospawn. Luckily, we dodged a turn 1 Wasteland. Ooh, or do we want a One Ring? I think we... What do we care more about here? I think the One Ring has higher upside, so let's play the One Ring. We're getting a response here. So, I mean, I would like this to resolve more than a Karn, but this also has much higher upside. Are they brainstorming to be mana efficient and going to daze me, or are they looking for an answer? That is the question. Alright, let's see. Did they find an answer? Yes, they had a daze. Okay, that does set them back a land, though. And we're just going to try to hit banger into banger. So, like, next turn our plan is to Vesuva, copy the tower, play Karn, following turn Sowing Mycospawn. This is screaming that it's Scaminator or Delver or something, so I wouldn't be surprised if I see a Wasteland here just to try to keep me off of mana. But we'll see what happens here. They might need to progress their own game plan. I found in general when it comes to this matchup, they need to be the aggressor and not do this shit. Well, yes, that does set me back a land. It's not the end of the world. Especially having a Elvish Spirit Guide like this. Yeah, we just have it copy that. The problem is like we can go for the whole thing, but if they have a Force of Will, this is really, really bad for us. But it does get 2 more cards out of their hand, and they didn't blow a Force of Will to get rid of the One Ring. As risky as this is, I think we're going to go for it. If they force this, this sucks. Okay, they did not force it. So now we're just going to slam a Karn. And then we are going to tick up the Karn. We can't cast whatever we get anyways at this point. And they can't Murktide us, so it's not like we need to go grab a, whatchamacallit here, Tormod's Crypt. Okay, they already played the Underground Sea. Into a Boseiju. Does Boseiju do anything for us here? It can blow up their land. Are there any other good cards that I would want to grab here? Like, Expo Map wouldn't be terrible if we want to go grab that. I think that's probably what we do here. Yeah, out of everything we can grab here, Expo Map is probably what we want the most. Play Expedition Map. Alright, and then we will go ahead and just play a Boseiju and pass the turn. This allows us to crack map on our end step, go grab another tower, or if they try to take out, like whatever they try to take out, basically we would go grab another one, and then we try to Sowing Mycospawn the following turn. Alright, so there's Sultai of some sort. So this might just be like Sultai Scam. Maybe we'll see. Is this just a Okay, yeah, it's just a Murktide Regent. That is totally fine. Like, I'm not super concerned about that. Karn has served its purpose. We can also use it to go get a whatchamacallit as well. Wasteland, a Tabernacle. We can use this to go grab an Ensnaring Bridge to stop the Murktide from attacking. Like that, we still have a bunch of things we can do here. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and just grab another Urza's Tower. And we're probably just going to let Karn die. What can we do here? So we play this. We cast this with Kicker. Use this to go make green mana. Find a land. Let's blow up their black source, probably. What do we want to grab here? I could go grab another Urza Saga and then just drop Ensnaring Bridge. Or I can go grab a Wasteland and blow up their tropical island, and then they're back to square one, but then they have to choose between attacking us or attacking Karn. I feel like that's not a terrible idea. We could also just grab Tabernacle off of this one. This gets us to 9, 10, 11. That's 11 mana there. Could grab a Glacial Chasm, but I don't think that does anything either. So we could also grab a redundant Planar Nexus just to hedge against another Wasteland. I think we're just going to go for the high roll here. Like, this is kind of risky if they have a Wasteland to take us off, but we also do have this Once Upon a Time that we can cast still. And we can play around a Daze. Grab an Ensnaring Bridge and cast Ensnaring Bridge. Try to turtle up so that this Murktide Regent is irrelevant. And now we're in a position where we can tick up one turn, go grab Mycosynth Lattice. I mean, they're in Sultai, so they could have, like, Abrupt Decay or something here. Tamiyo, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so they did have another land. We do need to worry about this Tamiyo potentially flipping. Glimmer Post. Well, we are going to tick up regardless. No target. I think we're going to tap the Urza's Tower, just so we still leave up other mana, like other colored mana, just in case. I actually don't hate Tabernacle to screw with their mana. But Jukabog isn't doing anything here right now anyways, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll just play the Tabernacle, and we will pass the turn. This puts me at 9, 10, 11, 12 mana next turn. They theoretically can attack with this Tamiyo if they want to, but it's not really doing anything at the moment. They're also going to have to decide if they want to save either of these creatures here. In theory, they could brainstorm to flip Tamiyo and not have to pay for it. Or are they just going to let go? Okay, they decided they wanted both of them. They are slowly getting mana, which is annoying. We might... Who are you attacking? Are you attacking us or are you attacking Karn? They're attacking Karn. We also could just go for the Mycosynth lock and hope that they don't have the, whatchamacallit? The Force of Will. Yeah, we'll pay for it. Just in case they ever have a way to get rid of the bridge. Wasteland. Interesting. So we're going to still try to keep them kind of mana screwed to a certain extent. Just to make it so that we're taxing their mana. If they have the Force of Will, it gets 2 more cards out of their hand. And we can lock this game down with the Lattice. I mean, like, it has to be a Force, because we can pay for Dazes up the ass. Okay, it is a Force, pitching a Psychic Frog. That's interesting that they haven't played that yet. But, okay, we'll pass the turn. The Psychic Frog was actually huge that they haven't played that yet. I would not mind more, whatchamacallits, Sowing Mycospawns. I'm almost... Okay, they finally let that one go, so I think they are going to try to flip Tamiyo. Which, if they do, I'll just hold on to cards. And now I'll probably hold on to my cards, attack with Mycospawn, now that the Murktide region is out of the way. Pay for that. Alright, so they're just trying to stock up some resources here. We will attack with the Mycospawn before doing anything else. Since we can get the damage in now, and just keep doing this, dropping... cards. Let's go ahead and play the Forest and tick up Karn, no targets. We'll just pass the turn. They will get to flip this Tamiyo if they ever hit a whatchamacallit, but it's interesting that they're not trying to flip this Tamiyo at the moment. They're banking up clues, but they're never in a position where they can actually cash them in. And they really like attacking Karn. Like, they just keep attacking Karn with the Tamiyo, which is kind of funny. But yeah, they're just banking up clues at this point, which is fine. Alright, and now we'll just keep doing this. Yep. Grab a card. Tick up Karn. No target. I suppose we could have actually attacked with the Ensnaring Bridge too. And we are slowly just getting up to the point of being able to cast this Emrakul here. What do they have that they can hit here? Okay, Murderous Cut. It is a good thing that I have not actually cashed that in yet then. Alright, I'm at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is 14. If I hit any kind of multi mana land here, I'll be able to just cast Emrakul, which I'm okay with. Alright, there's Ponder. That's card number 2 for the turn. So they might be able to flip this Tamiyo if they can hit a land and another cantrip. But them doing this with Tamiyo doesn't really matter, because they're not going to be able to get it up high enough in loyalty before I just slam this Emrakul, unless I literally just don't draw lands. I'm kind of debating if I want to just like grab a Walking Ballista, cast that for a bajillion. Yeah, they're just taking up Tamiyo. They're not going to be able to tick it up high enough to be able to get around this Emrakul if I can slam it. Cloud Post, that'll do it next turn. So we're just gonna cast Cloud Post. Since we're not doing anything else anyways, and they have no creatures, we're gonna go ahead and just try to cast a massive Walking Ballista here. See what I've got here. This is 9, 10, 11, 12. Cast for 6. See if we get another counter out of their hand. If not, then we'll just ping Tamiyo down. Alright, yeah, we're getting another Force of Will and another Murktide region out of hand. Yeah, as long as they don't hit a Wasteland, we're just casting Emrakul next turn. And they're down to just 2 cards. Technically, they can crack one of these clues as well. I mean, as long as they can't get rid of this Planar Nexus, we're golden. Oh, Bowmasters, that's fine. You're dead. Yeah, as long as the opponent doesn't have a Wasteland, they're just dead here. So they ping down Karn with Bowmasters after taking up Tamiyo, and that's fine. But you are dead, opponent. Crop rotation doesn't even matter. 6, 9, 10. That's 12. I need 2 more. And that is a hard cast in Emrakul when you're at 11 life. And they scoop it up. If they had consigned to memory main deck, they could have countered the trigger, but they can't counter the Emrakul itself. And they would need an edict to get rid of it. Alright, moving on to the sideboard here. Against what our opponent's doing, I'm going to say let's bring in Dismember and Leylines. I don't think Beseju's doing a ton here, so we can probably trim that. I'm iffy about the Leylines, or the Dismembers. Maybe trim a couple of Flutes. Like, they do stop Tamiyo, they do stop a Psychic Frog. I want to keep Vexing Bubble in to stop their counter magic. I just don't know if I want to go down all of the Disruptor Flutes. And if I don't go down them, I'm not sure what else to take. We can probably take Karakas out. That's pretty irrelevant. It does have some synergies with Emrakul and Ulamog, but that's going to be like super, super late game. Maybe we trim those. Trim 1 Once Upon a Time. Let's trim 2 Once Upon a Times. We're only going to end up casting one of them, and that's if it's in our opening hand anyways. So let's try that. Go down 2 Flutes, Beseju, Karakas, and 2 Once Upon a Times. Bring in the 4 Leylines to shut off Murktide Region and to be able to stop Psychic Frog from getting flying. Bring in Dismembers to try to kill their small creatures before they get a chance to really do anything, like Tamiyo or a Frog if they're low on cards in hand, or force them to just pitch a shitload of cards when they don't want to. So let's try something like that. Okay, so this is interesting in the sense that, like, we have a Leyline to start, and we have a shitload of mana, but we need stuff to do with said mana is the problem. So I'm not sure if this is keepable or not, because we've got the Tabernacle to start, like, taxing their mana if they try to do stuff. I think we're going to give it a shot here. We're going to get to draw a card, and like I said, we've got a ton of mana to be able to do stuff with, so all we need to do is draw our payoffs. Alright, just a Ponder, that's fine. I'm debating if I want to lead off with Tabernacle or not. We'll see what we draw here. It is a Karn. So I think we're going to start out with a Cloud Post, see what they do, wait until they start putting creatures on the battlefield, and then I can Tabernacle. Because at this point, if I can just Cloud Post Vesuva, we're good. Unfortunately, like, all of these lands enter the battlefield tapped, other than Urza Saga and Tabernacle, which doesn't produce mana, but we'll see. Alright, there's a Wasteland, that's fine. They're not doing much of anything, so they kept a very defensive hand, which I'm kind of okay with. There's another Cloud Post, so we'll just play another one. See if we got another, whatchamacallit. Because if they don't, then we'll probably just hold up Cloud Post, play Vesuva. Or if they play a creature, we will go ahead and Tabernacle. I'm wondering if they kept a hand with a Murktide Region in it, trying to make sure that they hit, or that they could fill their graveyard quickly. Alright, so they still aren't playing any creatures yet. I might play a Tabernacle here just to make a, ooh. Or a Planar Nexus is interesting as well. Because Planar Nexus gives me 3 mana right now. I've technically got 4 if I want to try to slam this Karn. I think we're going to go ahead and just play Vesuva copying Cloud Post and try to high roll next turn. Because next turn, if I can do this, that gives me Karn plus mana to cast something with Karn. Okay, so they definitely just kept a very defensive hand. So I'm assuming this Karn is getting countered in a heartbeat. So it becomes a question of, is it even worth trying to run out at this point? Probably. We'll make him spend the counter. Like, I can pay for a daze. It's going to have to be a force effect. What? So, do I want to grab anything with it or no? Probably not, because if I down ticket, they just kill it with, whatchamacallit? An Orcish Bowmasters. I could get a Walking Ballista and play Ballista on 1. Technically 2. But I think I'm better off just up-ticking Karn with no target so that I can survive a Bowmasters. And then just try to do dumb shit next turn, hopefully. Sheoldred's Edict. Okay. Well, that gets an Edict out of their hand, which is one of the only ways they have to deal with Emrakul. So they definitely kept a very defensive-oriented hand, which is exactly what I need to be able to play this game, is for them to keep a slow hand. Because they need to be the aggressor in order for this to work the way that they want it to. A Once Upon a Time. Interesting. Well, we will Once Upon a Time, see what we can find. See if this is worth countering to them. No? Okay. We're gonna grab the Sowing Mycospawn, play this, and this is actually enough to do it. If they have the Consign to Oblivion or Consign to Memory or whatever, it sucks, but it gets another counter out of their hand. And we're gonna try to get you off of green. I'd be very surprised if they don't have the Consign to Memory, because they can just straight counter all of this. Apparently not. So I could grab... There's a part of me that wants to grab Eye of Ugin, because that's going to let me tutor stuff up. But I also kind of want to just like get them off of lands entirely and grab a Wasteland. So I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to wait for this to resolve before trying to go after the Underground Sea. Okay, because I didn't want to give them a way to bounce this Underground Sea, or if they were going to do it, I was going to make them do it before anything else. Okay, Bowmasters is fine. We are going to follow this up with a Tabernacle next turn. Because I've already played my land this turn? Yes, okay. So we're going to follow this up with a Tabernacle and make them decide what they want to do here. I guess we're going to see if they have more lands, or if we actually are effectively mana screwing them now. Because we just cut them off with 2 colors if they don't have more lands. And they scoop it up! Alright, we were able to take them down with destroying their lands and doing exactly what I wanted to here with Sowing Mycospawn. So, yeah, I like it. Off to a good start. On to the next one. Alright, lost the die roll. This is a fantastic hand. We're going to keep. We even have a redundant Planar Nexus in case they're on a Wasteland strategy. And we have multiple 4-drops to be able to choose from. Alright, basic Swamp, Lotus Petal. Is this Storm? This could be like a mono black aggro. This could be Storm. They did mulligan to 6. But Swamp into Lotus Petal makes me think this is some kind of Storm deck. So hopefully this Vexing Bauble ends up being very good and shuts off like all of their artifact mana. And a Bojuka Bog to shut off graveyard lines if needed as well. But I think the plan for right now is just going to be slam the Vexing Bauble turn 1, next turn Urza's Tower into the One Ring, and then hope that we draw into something useful from there. Alright, it is a black Stompy deck. Interesting. A Shouldered would be terrible here. Luckily, if they have a discard spell, it has to be like a Thoughtseize or a Duress, and we have 2 One Rings. There's also a world where we can runner Urza's Towers and Wasteland Exile Land as well. Collective Brutality. Joke's on you, opponent. We have no instants or sorceries. They did not chuck anything, though, which is interesting. So they were using that strictly in Duress mode. Disruptor Flute's interesting, but we're just going to go ahead and slam this One Ring. Yeah, we're just slamming the One Ring. We're just going to draw right now. Drew Once Upon a Time. That we can cast it, but it doesn't really do anything for us at the moment. Depending on what we see from our opponent, too, we always can cast this Disruptor Flute to stop something. Alright, so they're at 6 mana already. They actually have more mana than us, but they're not doing anything with it. That's interesting. There's a part of me that thinks that they are holding back a Bowmaster right now. We'll see what we draw here. A Mycospawn. Yeah, let's see if they got the Bowmaster. They can ping us for a bit. Okay, they don't have a Bowmaster. What do I even want to do here? I guess probably... Like, what do we want to do here? We've already got the Vexing Bauble out. We can play another Planar Nexus, and then kind of just hold up Once Upon a Time and Disruptor Flute and see what they do on their turn. Just chuck the Bauble. Like, we don't need a redundant Bauble at this point. I'm really curious what our opponent's doing over there. They're clearly some kind of stompy big mana deck, but I don't know what they're doing. Like, I thought for sure they were holding up a Bowmasters or a Shouldered. Okay, they're finally doing something. Popping for a bunch of black. They are hard casting a Grief. I guess we're gonna do this and cast our Once Upon a Time just to get it out of our hand. What do we even want here? I guess grab a... Out of all of this, let's just grab a Vesuva. They can either take the One Ring, or they can take one of our Mycospawns. Based off of what they have here, I might just flash out this Disruptor Flute and name Shouldered. Just because I don't know what else they're doing over here. If they don't just take that. Alright, they took one of the Mycospawns. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and flash out this Disruptor Flute. Just name Shouldered proactively. Shoulder the Apocalypse. Just make it cost more. Try to be proactive with this. I think we probably just go for a kicked Mycospawn this turn and take out as many lands as possible, and we will deal with this grief later. That is a Cloud Post. I don't necessarily want to draw anything with the ring here. I don't think anything I draw at the moment is going to matter. So we're just going to go ahead and kick a Mycospawn. Search it, and let's exile your Black Source. Actually, this is kind of funny. We can get Tabernacle, and they have to start tapping their Ancient Tombs to keep their grief around. I actually kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna do that game here. That's kind of cute. We're gonna make them shock themselves every turn they want to keep their grief around. Like, there was something to be said about going and grabbing a Wasteland to take out their Ancient Tomb, or one of the Ancient Tombs, so that they're restricted on mana. But I feel like a lot of their Haymakers are going to be double or triple black anyway, so as long as we took out the basic, and now they have to make the decision of, is this grief worth 2 life every turn? Or are they just going to let it go? They're deciding it's worth 2 life, okay. This also kind of has the same effect as Wastelanding one of those, because it's tapping it down every turn. Assuming they don't have another basic. Okay, they do, so it shocked them for 1 turn, which is fine. We do also have another, whatchamacallit, the One Ring. What do they got for 3 mana? Opposition Agent, maybe? Or maybe they're overpaying for a Bowmasters? No. Collective Brutality, pitching an Unmask. They're choosing Duress Mode and give -2 to the Mycospawn, which doesn't kill it, and they can't take anything out of our hand anyways. Okay. They are now tapped out. However, they do have a basic to be able to keep their grief alive, but again, it's going to restrict their mana in a really awkward fashion. We will lose our 2 life, and then we will pay for Mycospawn. That's fine. Yes, we will pay. I think we are still winning this race, especially given the fact that we have another, the One Ring that we can cast. And we have another, the One Ring that we can cast. Let's play Vesuva. We're going to go ahead and copy the Urza's Tower. Get in. And I think we're going to go ahead and just slam the One Ring here. Get our defenses back up. Keep the new one. Save our life total for a little bit here. We actually will draw, though. Into a Vexing Bauble. We'll hold on to it. It's fine. We're winning the race. We have another the One Ring in our hand if we need to fog again. Ooh, they're still tapping the Ancient Tomb, so they value their black mana. And they scoop it up. Okay, so Unmask, I'm guessing this is Mono Black Reanimator. Based off of seeing Collective Brutalities, Unmask, Grief. It's interesting that they have Ancient Tomb, so I'm wondering if this is one of the versions that also has, like, Lake of the Dead and is trying to be able to hardcast their Emrakuls and shit. That being said, we are 100% bringing in all of the Leyline of the Voids. I don't want to take out the Disruptor Flutes, but I also don't think they're doing a ton here. We can probably take out Abeseju, trim 2 Flutes, and a Once Upon a Time, or maybe keep in 2 Flutes, get rid of 2 Once Upon a Times? Yeah, let's try something like that. Alright, yeah, this is turn 2 the One Ring and an opening Leyline, so, I mean, we're keeping it. We also have a Bajuka Bog just in case we need it. Alright, start out with the Leyline and play. See if they're one of those Reanimator players that just hard scoops to a Leyline. They are not. I was going to say, the only thing that they can hit here with a discard spell is the One Ring. So that part would suck. Phyrexian Tower, interesting. Into a Petal, okay. So yeah, it does seem like this is probably mono black Reanimator, based off of what I can tell here. Disruptor Flute is fine. We're just going to play the Urza's Tower, just in case for some reason they do actually have Wastelands. I'm going to play the piece that I have a redundant one of. So if they do happen to have Wasteland, they'll hit the Urza's Tower. We have another one. Instead of running out this Planar Nexus and then the other Urza's Tower basically just being dead. Okay, yep, they're gonna get our One Ring. That's fine. We have Disruptor Flute if we want to get crazy. We might still go ahead and just, like, next turn slam Disruptor Flute, name Shouldered. If they take the Disruptor Flute instead... Ooh. They took the Disruptor Flute. That is interesting. Does that mean they do have a Shouldered? I mean, we're just doing the thing. And if we can hit a Mycospawn, we have the mana to be able to kick it next turn. That being said, if they do have a Shoulder, that's mildly problematic. Okay, we hit another Disruptor Flute. So I'm curious what they are afraid of us naming. I think I want to name Griselbrand, just in case they ever get to enough mana to be able to do it. Because if they have a Shouldered, it's coming down this turn, and there's no point in naming it anymore. Okay, they don't have the Shouldered. In that case, we might just hang on to the Disruptor Flute then. This could be a Bowmaster's. That's a very high possibility. Eye of Eugene. Let's see if they flash in a Bowmaster here. No, they do not. And an Echoing Flute. They don't know about the Eye of Ugin yet. Let's just play a tower, pass the turn, and then next turn we can Eye of Ugin, go grab something after that. Like, probably go grab a, Ulamog? Urza's Saga. Interesting. We could name that. Alright, they're doing something here. Alright, well, since they're flashing in a Grief, we're doing this now, I guess. Because it's the only thing that they can grab with this Grief. We're gonna name Urza's Saga. Make it so that they can't start running away with constructs. Behold our beautiful handful of lands, opponent. Alright. Give us something good, Deck. Give us something good. Alright, Vexing Bauble is interesting. Crop Rotation. How much mana does that give us? Not enough to do anything too crazy here. I think what we want to do is just play the Eye of Ugin, go tutor something. Like, go tutor Ulamog at the end of turn, and then just play it next turn. And I think we're going to get rid of the Vexing Bauble. Let's get rid of Vexing Bauble and Echoing Deeps. And then hope that our opponent doesn't have an opposition agent, basically, is what this is going to come down to. Because that would be very bad if they do. But we'll see if they tap out of... Okay, they're never tapping out of black mana now. Unless they literally tap down to nothing. Interesting. They're unmasking me. Full price. Do I care? No, I do not care. You can have my crop rotation, that's fine. I really don't care about that. And this is going to let me go tutor an Ulamog, which I can then cast next turn. Because they have one card in hand, there is nothing they can do to prevent me from searching my library here. Alright, go search up an Ulamog. Go grab our Ulamog. And they scoop it up when they see what's going to come at them. Alright, I like it. I like it. On to the next one. Alright, won the die roll. Let's go. I've got some mana acceleration, but nothing to really do with it here. I think I'm going to ship this one. We're going to go ahead and keep this one. I don't know if Tabernacle is going to be good or not, so we're going to put Tabernacle to the bottom. And I think our plan is turn one, Once Upon a Time, Tower, Vexing Bauble, go. And hope that our opponent's on something that cares about free spells. Having another Cloud Post seems pretty good. Just start getting our ramp on. It's a little awkward that we don't have green mana or a way to make green mana for this Mycospawn, but I think if we can survive until unfortunately still going to be turn 4 before we get this One Ring down because he's enter-tapped. Opponent's pondering. Okay, so I think that this Vexing Bauble is going to help shut down counter magic based off of what I'm seeing here. But is this going to be a fair blue deck, or is this going to be an unfair blue deck, becomes the question. Alright, opponent decided not to shuffle off of the Ponder. That was also one of the fastest Ponders I think I've seen someone resolve in a while. Multiple Cloud Posts, so we're just going to play our Cloud Posts and pass the turn. We'll have 3 mana next turn unless we top deck a whatchamacallit. Okay, land before Brainstorming is a little strange to me, but whatever. Unless we top deck into a Planar Nexus, and then we can slam this One Ring. But apparently our opponent is just trying to sculpt their hand. This is, to me, this is Nadu or Breakfast, just based off of what I've seen these lands represent lately. Another Mycospawn, okay. So, I mean, we're just going to go for the One Ring next turn. Unless we find a way to make green mana, and then we'll go for the Sowing Mycospawn. Ooh, City of Traders. Show and Tell. Okay. Interesting. Am I dead? It's an Emrakul. Alright, I'm not dead yet. So we need a way to make green mana is the big thing here. Luckily, we have a shitload of mana to be able to play. Or we can just go get... I was going to say, the nice part is we have a shitload of mana to be able to play the One Ring, draw with it, and then go do our thing. Because each one of these is tapping for 3 now. Please don't have a consign to memory. Okay, that resolved. We're just going to go do the thing and grab an Ensnaring Bridge. And hope that they don't have a... whatchamacallit? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that thingy. The Brazen Borrower. Alright, we are hoping that we can fade a Brazen Borrower for a turn. And then we should be able to either Mycosynth lock them or Turtle up, assuming they don't have a way to deal with the Ensnaring Bridge. Not even tapping for mana. That's ballsy. And we... Alright, they scoop it up. They didn't find a way to remove the Ensnaring Bridge, because next turn we were just going to go grab a Mycosynth Lattice and lock him out of the game. So, taking down game 1 up against frickin' Show and Tell. Sideboarding wise, I really don't even know what to bring in here. I'm tempted to bring in Dismembers in case they have Vesuvan Drifter. And I don't think they have a ton of activated abilities, so I can probably take out 2 of the Disruptor Flutes. Outside of that, I'm honestly not super sure what they could have. I'm kind of tempted to bring in these Force of Vigors, just in case they have some kind of artifact or enchantment hate for what we're doing here. And being as every Show and Tell list I know, outside of Gristlebrand, and a lot of decks aren't even playing Gristle Daddy anymore, there are no activated abilities unless it's like Sneak Attack, but we saw white instead of red. So I think we're going to take a calculated risk here and see how bad I am at math, and take out all the Disruptor Flutes, bring in 2 Dismembers, bring in 2 Force of Vigors, and see how that goes. We have Force of Vigor in case we need it, we have Planar Nexus to enable shenanigans, and we have a Once Upon a Time. We're going to try it. See where this goes. Opponent mulled to 6. We don't have the counter protection, which kind of sucks. Okay, so they're Bant. Are they maybe Omnitel then? Casting a Ponder off of the Tropical Island. Chose not to shuffle. Like I said, I'm wondering if maybe they're Omni show now that I'm seeing green mana. I don't think we're going to need to worry about land destruction out of our opponent. I'm wondering if they're gonna fucking daze this. No? Wow, that was a fucking whiff. I mean, let's play a Glimmer Post and pass, I guess. I guess we're just going to go ahead and cast another Once Upon a Time, probably. Depending on what our opponent does here. If we don't need to pitch something to this Force of Vigor. But we'll see. Is this... No, okay, I was about to say, is this a Show and Tell? Yeah, we'll see what happens here. It does mean that we are out of Force of Vigor stuff if we were to pitch this Elvis Spirit Guide to play Once Upon a Time, but it might be worth it. Alright, opponent is cycling a Lorien revealed. So they liked something from the Ponder, but they don't want the other things, which is understandable. Seeing as we have lands and stuff, I don't think I'm going to go ahead and pop off this Once Upon a Time yet. Okay, I like that a lot. Let's play the Urza Saga for now, and we'll see what happens here, because next turn we have the mana to be able to play Planar Nexus into Sowing Mycospawn. We actually have enough mana to kick it? Alright, is this a Show and Tell? No, the One Ring. Okay, that's fine. I guess we're gonna see... So, like, this is fine because they have protection, but their lands don't. Into another Sowing Mycospawn. Make sure that my math is right here, because what, this is 5, 6. Kick a Sowing Mycospawn. We're gonna go find a wasteland. We're gonna exile your island and set you back to 0 lands. And then we have another one to do it again next turn if we need to. Grab a wasteland. Let this resolve so that they don't pick this up with a daze in response. And now they're down to 0 lands with a One Ring. And we have another Sowing Mycospawn to be able to do that again next turn if we need to. If they happen to play a land, we can kick it, get rid of their land, go grab, like, maybe a Karakas, maybe another Urza's Tower. Alright, they got a Ancient Tomb. We'll hit that. Like, that's totally fine. Like, just keep playing the mana denial plan here. Or we can Karn. But I think I like just keeping them off of lands more, presenting a clock, and then we'll try to Karn next turn. Because there's a very high possibility that they have a Force of Will in their hand currently. And we're just going to do this again. Get rid of their Ancient Tomb. And we will go get... Let's just grab another Urza's Tower. Yeah, let's grab an Urza's Tower. Just keep them off of lands. This thing is slowly killing them. We have a legitimate clock. Like, the more stuff we can do that doesn't make sense for them to counter, the better. Because they for sure have a counter in hand. Like, there's no way after drawing an additional 6 cards with the One Ring that they don't have a Force of Will or something to stop this Karn. So I just want to get into a point where we have enough mana that we can kind of just do something stupid with it. I also wouldn't hate another Sowing Mycospawn. Just keep attacking their lands. They are going to have to discard 3 cards, and there's an Intuition, a Flusterstorm, Monster Manual. That's some spice. Okay. Another Mycospawn? Glimmer Post. Okay. I think we're going to start out with a Once Upon a Time, see if we can find a Mycospawn off of this. We do not, but we hit an Eye of Ugin and a Karakas. We're just going to set up for next turn. We're going to play the Eye of Ugin. Yeah, no, we'll just pass the turn here, attack in. If they show and tell, which I don't know how they could with this mana, we can go ahead and just go get an Eldrazi to put into play, and probably just get an Emrakul of our own to shove into play, if we're being completely honest here. But what we're probably going to do is go ahead and tutor up a Ulamog to be able to cast. Alright, opponent is desperately looking for a way out of this. Did they find it? Did they find their way out of this? Alright, they scoop it up. They didn't find a way out of it. Alright. The Eldrazi are proving to be too much. Alright, won the die roll. Let's go. This is interesting. It enables a bunch of stuff, but we don't really do anything right off the bat. We do have redundant Karns, which is nice. But this does literally nothing against a fast combo deck. I think we're going to ship this. This kind of suffers the same problem, but it does have mana acceleration, so I think we're going to keep this one. Let's put the... Yeah, we'll put the Crop Rot to the bottom for now. We'll just start out with the Cloud Post. If they're on a Wasteland strategy, we can always just Echoing Deeps and replace our Cloud Post, basically. We're at the point where we will have enough mana to be able to basically cast any of our big stuff if we hit it. Alright, Wasteland. That's fine. Like I said, we got the Echoing Deep, so that basically did nothing. We weren't really planning on doing anything next turn anyways. Into an Elvish Spirit Guide. Apparently, I should have kept the crop rotation. Oh well. Do you have Wasteland number 2 opponent? We can do this all day. Okay, they do not have Wasteland number 2. So this looks like Grixis Delver. So we want to establish what we're doing before they can get a threat down. And it looks like they might have kept a disruptive hand versus an aggressive hand because they aren't dropping any kind of creatures right now. That being said, we are going to have to worry about counter magic unless we hit a Vexing Bauble. We can do this. That's fine. There's a part of me that wants to try to flash in this Disruptor Flute and name Psychic Frog, but I also don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. The problem is if they get one down, they still have the card advantage engine going on. We're going to make them decide if they want to get rid of this Disruptor Flute now or not. No, okay, so we are going to name Psychic Frog just to stop them from being able to play it. Because that card, even if we shut down its activated ability, the card draw aspect of it is so good that it's just going to steamroll us. So hopefully this stopped them from being able to actually play it this turn, and that was their plan, was to just slam a turn 3 Psychic Frog. Okay, Dragon Rage Channeler. That, while annoying, is not the end of the world. Casting a Bauble, getting their Surveil on. We have a Elvish Spirit Guide, so if we get a crop rotation, we theoretically are able to go get a Bojuka Bog and clear out this graveyard so that they can't Murktide Regent or turn on their Dragon Rage Channeler. But all of that being said, also, like, there's a very high possibility that they have Force of Wills in their hand because they kept whatever they wanted on top. That's a Vasuva. That's not really doing anything here at the moment. I have all the mana in the world, but nothing to do with it is the problem. Luckily, they only have 2 card types in the graveyard at the moment. This is card type number 3. Okay, they just binned another Mishra's Bauble. I'm okay with that, because that's not just like a free card draw into Dragonray Channeler. However, they could very well be in a position where they are setting up a Murktide Regent, and I just don't have an answer to that at the moment. That being said, okay, that's gonna be that. Okay, they already have land in the graveyard, so that's not the next card type. Okay, another Dragon Rage Channeler. I would very much like a payoff. Okay, I very much need a payoff for all of this mana and for them to not have a Force of Will effect. And I know that's asking a lot. Like, I actually wouldn't mind, like, a Sowing Mycospawn, just to get them off of the mana to be able to get a Murktide Regent. There's a Karn. I am assuming this is getting the ever-loving shit forced out of it. But we're gonna try. What? Okay. Well, we are gonna go grab a... Let's grab a Walking Ballista and just murder their fucking board. They didn't counter the Karn, so I'm thinking they don't have a counter. Or if they do, they were trying to bank on something else here. Alright, well, we are going to go ahead and just murder their board right the fuck now. And I will absolutely sacrifice this Walking Ballista to prevent them from being able to turn on Dragonray Channeler at instant speed. They are doing that. No. Okay, I may have miscalculated this. I forgot that putting a creature in the graveyard would turn on Dragonray Channeler. I may have fucked that up. It's fine. That's totally fine. It's whatever. If they don't have a way to kill this Walking Ballista... Okay, they do. Oh, they're just killing a Karn. That's actually great for us. Because I definitely have enough mana to just sink mana into Walking Ballista. The one downside would be if they have the Murktide Regent, I need a way to deal with it. I also do have another Glimmer Post to undo like 2 Dragonray Channeler attacks. Alright, this Molten Collapse? Okay. I mean, I guess that is one way to get rid of it. I still have a ton of mana. So I'm still in a position where I basically just need payoffs. And they're getting rid of, like, all of their creature cards. They're trying to fuel up for a Murktide Regent, I'm sure. Like I said, if we could hit a Sowing Mycospawn, that would actually be fantastic. A Sowing Mycospawn, Eye of Ugin, anything like that would actually be fantastic. Or just the One Ring works as well. See if they've got a counterspell, finally. They are brainstorming, looking for a force. Binded Polluted Delta, so that's good that they didn't see it on their top card. Did they find the force? No. Okay. I am A-okay with that. Another Urza Saga. Let's just play a Glimmer Post, and we'll pass the turn. I have just all of the mana in the world to be able to cast anything I draw now. The big thing is just making sure that I don't just keep drawing lands. However, like, half of the deck is lands. So... Okay, Wasteland is fine. They can cut me off of some amount of mana. That's fine. Each one of these still produces 4. I've still got 10 mana right here. Like, it cuts me off of being able to hardcast an Emrakul. Is basically all that that did. It's basically just fading the Murktide Regent is the big thing here. Oh, they started to pay cost for something. Did they find the Murktide Regent? It looks like it. Damn. Okay, so now I need to find an answer to the Murktide Regent itself. Alright, yep, there's their Murktide Regent. Almost full strength. Into another Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. So I need to find an answer to this. Luckily, we know Force of Will isn't live now. But we've got 3 draws to try to find an answer here. Okay, Sowing Mycospawn does something here. Into a Disruptor Flute and a Once Upon a Time. So what can we do here? We could go grab... So what? We can play a land, cast a Mycospawn with Kicker, search for a land, blow up their black source. I think we actually want to grab... This might be a Glacial Chasm situation here. And with that there, tap that, sack the Urza's Tower, get this onto the battlefield, flash in the Disruptor Flute, naming Wasteland, to keep them from blowing up any more of our lands. And this buys me quite a few turns. And they can't just blow it up now, so... However, I am going to be eating into my own life total quite a bit here between the One Ring and the Glacial Chasm. Yep, pay the 2. I'll go back to my starting life total, so I still do have quite a bit of life to work with here. Force of Will... Okay, Ulamog probably just kills them, if we're being completely honest here. And a Planar Nexus? Okay, play the Planar Nexus. 5, 10, Ulamog. We are going to blow up the Murktide Regent. Like, we're just going to kill creatures here, unless they just scooped it up, which I think they did, because it just froze. Yeah, they scooped it up. Okay. Alright, in that case then, against Delver, I think we basically just bring in this stuff here. Like, bring in Dismember, Leyline of the Void. Can probably take out Boseiju, Karakas, and then let's just do the 2/2 trim of 2 Disruptor Flute, 2 Vexing Bauble? Try that. Alright, yeah, we keep this. We have the Leyline, we have our Planar Nexus Urza's Saga, or Urza's Tower shit, like, yeah. We're just gonna start with that. We got Crop Rot if we need it as well. I think I'm gonna start out on the tower. Opponent plays a Ponder off of a Volcanic Island, that's fine. I think we're gonna start off on the tower. We need the Nexus more so we can have colored mana later down the line, so if they do have a Wasteland to take something out. Okay, opponent did not shuffle off the Ponder. Alright, a Cloud Post 2. That's actually pretty fucking sweet. We'll just play the tower, though, and pass the turn. This has the highest upside of possibly being able to Karn next turn. And depending on what they do here, we'll see. If they Wasteland this, then we'll probably just play the Cloud Post. Alright, no. Okay. They could be doing, like, Psychic Frog bullshit here, too. But it doesn't seem like they are yet. But we dodged a Wasteland, so we're going to have our 4 mana for next turn. They didn't just slam Psychic Frog when they had the opportunity to, so I'm kind of thinking there's a part of me that wants to go ahead and play Disruptor Flute on Wasteland. But again, a Psychic Frog does kind of just ruin our day. But I think it's more important to get it down on Wasteland. But we'll also see what they do. Because if we can get them to go with a Wasteland after Planar Nexus or something, like, I don't know, we'll see what they do here. If we have to, we can slam Disruptor Flute on Frog after they've cast it. Okay, they do have a Wasteland. We're gonna go make green mana. And it's gone anyway, so if they want to blow a Force of Will on this, that's fine. I can pay for a daze, no problem. Looks like it resolves, so we're just gonna go grab another Planar Nexus. Make them waste their Wasteland. We're gonna go ahead and try to slam that and name Wasteland again, so that they can't take us off any more mana. Like, that worked perfectly, being able to Crop Rot the targeted land away for another one. It seemed like they possibly had a counterspell and then decided against it. Let's play a Cloud Post. I'm really debating. Yeah, let's get a counter out of their hand. I'm like 99% sure this is gonna get countered. Whoa, it didn't? Okay. I'm gonna tick it up so it doesn't just instantly die to a lightning bolt. I can't believe they didn't have a counter. I thought for sure they did. We also, if they somehow have a way to deal with one of our Planar Nexus, we have another one, so... And the fact that they didn't have a counter kind of makes me want to go for a Mycosynth Lock next turn, but I also don't want to just get blown out by that and essentially Time Walk myself. So I think what we're going to do next turn is we're probably just going to kick a Sowing Mycospawn to blow up both of their lands. And basically just try to close the game out that way. Alright, they're still going to have mana left over, so it's not guaranteed end of the world here. And there's a very real possibility that they have a Consign to Oblivion as well. But I think we're going to go ahead and just do the thing to start. Make green mana. Kick a Sowing Mycospawn. Search for a Wasteland. Did our opponent scoop it to that? It just got very slow. And they scooped it up to that one. Alright, taking down Grixis Delver. On to the next one. Alright, lost a die roll. This is completely non-functional. Like, we could lean hard on this once upon a time, but it's not worth it. We need to make sure that we can do something. This also honestly doesn't do anything. A bunch of single mana sources and a 10 and a 15 drop. We're gonna go to 5 and hate every second of it. This I guess we're gonna keep. Probably get rid of Bog. Get rid of Disruptor Flute. And just hope for the best. This is a turn 3 Karn, assuming we don't get it discarded here. Okay, so this is either like a depth deck, or this could be the new Cradle control, so to speak, which is actually more combo than control now. Okay, Once Upon a Time, that lets us search a little bit deeper. We can be a dick and play a Tabernacle, that'd be funny. I actually think we might do that. Just like, screw it, let's fuck with their mana. I'm sure they have a way to deal with this Tabernacle, but at this point we're just gonna screw with them. Now this becomes a turn 4 Karn, unless we can find something to go with these Urza's Towers. Dryad Arbor, okay, that can pay for itself. So this is screaming that like new Cradle control deck, which is actually more of like Cradle combo now. It's not relying as much on like Fiend Artisans and stuff. It's going more for natural order into Craterhoof Behemoth and stuff. So like this turn, Dryad Arbor can pay for itself. Oh no, they're gonna give up all of their creatures to just go get a land? Because this enters the battlefield tapped. So they're gonna lose their Elvish Reclaimer as well. But they're setting up to try to do things in future turns, which I respect. But at this point, we're still kind of just at the point where we possibly are able to just drop either the One Ring or Karn next turn and see what we can do from there. Okay, so yeah, it's the combo version. Tabernacle is interesting, especially with Gaia's Cradle, but they can do these shenanigans now. And then that's going to be another land. Okay, yeah. It's the, like, Cradle combo Elves sort of thing. And they're going to try to just go off here. If we can find... Yeah, if we can just find our, whatchamacallit? Actually, we could Sowing Mycospawn, go grab... Like, we don't even have to kick it. We can just go grab Sowing Mycospawn, get Wasteland, take out the Cradle, and then they're going to have to sacrifice like 90% of their board, or just tap it all down, turn after turn after turn, until we can find a way out of this. Well, it looks like they are capitalizing on Bowmasters going down in popularity and playing like traditional combo Elves. And it seems like they've stopped there. Another Urza's Tower. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do the thing. And basically we're just gonna take our Gaia's Cradle. Go grab a Wasteland, blow up Gaia's Cradle, and hope that they just have to tap their whole board down forever going forward. Grab Wasteland, blow up the Cradle, and see what happens from here. And now they're going to have to like tap down most of their team just to keep their team alive. And I might let this Mycospawn go to be able to slam the One Ring. Yeah, they're just tapping a bunch of creatures to be able to pay for all their creatures, is basically what's going on here. Which is nice, because it means that they can't just kill us. Okay, they're getting rid of a few of their non-essential ones. And I'm wondering if this is going to go grab another Gaia's Cradle. Like, that's very much a possibility, is they'll sink this mana into this to go grab another Gaia's Cradle. Unless they have one in hand already. Which is also a very real possibility, but I'm probably going to let the Mycospawn go. Alright, another Glimpse of Nature. And they have, what, 1 mana to work with? Unless they, like I said, have another Gaia's Cradle? 2 mana to work with? Oh, I didn't see the second Dryad Arbor. Okay, I mean, do your thing, opponent. Wirewood Symbiote's interesting. It's cool seeing, like, actual factual combo Elves coming back. Like, that's sweet. And, like, they can go pseudo-infinite here, but the thing is, like, next turn I'm going to go ahead and drop a Urza's, like, drop a One Ring, try to buy a turn, see if I can get to the point where I can, like, Karn, play an Ensnaring Bridge, and then just, like, turtle up behind it forever. I mean, they'll eventually find Beseiju, though. Like, I know these decks play it. I could also, theoretically, find, whatchamacallit? Glacial Chasm. They also might find their Beseiju and go after the Tabernacle instead. And I think these decks typically only play 1 Beseiju. They might have 2, so I'm not sure. However, this seems like a fucking nightmare matchup for this deck. I haven't been narrating what our opponent's been doing either, just because they're doing their thing. I did not realize they had a second, whatchamacallit? Glimpse of Nature now, so they're gonna have their entire deck in their hand here. If they want to. I'm wondering if we can get to the point where we actually have them mill themselves out. Like, I wonder if that's actually a legitimate possibility here. Okay, there's a natural order. I'm assuming this is for an Atraxa, because it makes no sense. Why did they get a Craterhoof Behemoth? Oh, Craterhoof has haste. That's why. I'm an idiot. It's fine. I totally forgot Craterhoof has haste. Yeah, we're just dead here. Holy shit. Well, no, we're not. Because they need a way to buff Craterhoof. I would go to 2. Unless they have another Craterhoof, or they have a way to buff Craterhoof. I will go to 2. They didn't get enough creatures on the battlefield to make Craterhoof itself lethal. Unless they have some way to buff it that I am unaware of. And then I'm still hopefully in a position where I can just chain a One Ring into something, into Karn and Ensnaring Bridge, and hope that they don't have Tabernacle. Or, Beseiju. Oh, and they have main deck endurances, so they're just going to loop their deck. Do they have more than one Craterhoof Behemoth? Like, it's cool seeing combo elves actually get a chance to pop off again. Like, that's cool. Wait, oh shit. I didn't realize I untapped some elves. Okay, yeah, no, we're just fucking dead. Okay. I wasn't even paying attention to what they were tapping and untapping. I didn't realize they actually had untapped shit that didn't have summoning sickness. Okay, yeah, we were hella dead. This is what happens when you're just like letting your opponent do their thing. They're just fucking going off and rambling. Okay, so against what our opponent's doing, we are bringing in Dismembers for sure. I think that's all we realistically need. Dismembers, and then probably get rid of Vexing Baubles. They're not really casting shit for free. Yeah, let's try something like that. Alright, let's see if we get absolutely fucking steamrolled again. I mean, this is a lot of mana, but nothing to do with it. Like, there's no way we're living long enough to get this Ulamog down is the problem. Despite the fact that this has, like, everything we want in it, there's no fucking way we're living that long. But it does open us up to, like, fantastic top decks. I think I gotta ship it, though. So, like, this is the same problem of, like, it's a little slow like our first hand, like last game was, and it doesn't really do a lot. I think we gotta go to 5. It really sucks how poorly this deck mulligans. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do this. Just hope that a turn 3 Karn into asinine amounts of mana is enough. That's really all we can hope for at this point. Luckily, I don't think these decks typically play much in terms of like land destruction. But they do have black, so this could be a Thoughtseize. No, it's an Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, I don't think I really have to worry about Wasteland too much, but we'll see. Because if I can get to turn 3, I have 7 mana, which allows me to Karn and go grab an Ensnaring Bridge. And if I draw a whatchamacallit, Elvish Spirit Guide or something, I can actually Karn and the One Ring on the same turn. It might actually be better for me to go ahead and One Ring first. We'll see. Because next turn they could just do some dumb shit. So I think I might be better off just going for the One Ring. Another Cloud Post. What, I just the One Ring here? That's... Yeah, this is going to be just so much more mana. Play the One Ring. This gives us mana to be able to cast something off of this as well. If we draw something. Like if we Disrupt or Flute Beseiju, that doesn't do anything here. Okay. And then next turn, we should... The problem is we start getting stuff stuck in our hand, but we should be in a position where we can... What are they just grabbing here? Underground Mortuary, okay. We should be in a position where we can, like, Karn and Snaring Bridge, but then... I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we do. I'm, like, trying to think of how... We can't empty our hand entirely because we have fucking lands. And, like, we could Beseiju away the Gaia's Cradle, in theory. But we'll just have to see what we draw. Because if we can just chain One Rings, that'd be great. I think this deck probably should have one of these One Rings on the sideboard, like, the more that I play the deck. But, like, that's the problem. Like, these hyper-fast aggro decks, like, this is what this deck struggles against. Because they can just go so fast. And the other problem is if they keep these untapped, like, our Beseiju doesn't even do anything. Because they can just tap Cradle, Reclaimer the Cradle away for another Cradle. So, like, our Beseiju doesn't even do anything is the problem. Urza's Tower. How much fucking mana do I have here? I Planar Nexus. These each tap for 4 now. So I've got 12, 13 mana. Each of these taps for 4. I can try to mow down parts of their board. Like, I could try to keep the board under control. Because I can cast a really fucking big, whatchamacallit. Torpor Orb shuts down some things. Mycosynth Lattice next turn doesn't do anything. Vexing Bauble doesn't do anything. I think it's just grab a big Walking Ballista and hope for the best. It's that, or I drop a, because I can kill both of these if I get a big Walking Ballista, but then they can just go ham with everything else. But this does require them to tap things. But this stops them from tutoring things. What do I want to do here? I could also Once Upon a Time and dig deeper. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab an Ensnaring Bridge here. Even though I've got a bunch of cards in hand, this should stop them from being able to kill me with a, whatchamacallit? Craterhoof Behemoth. So I think we're going to go ahead and just do that. And then I will hold up Once Upon a Time and just pass the turn. Like, it sucks that I have so many cards in hand right now, but this should stop a Craterhoof kill. And I can work toward just getting cards out of my hand. Alright, well, we'll just see. We'll see if Karn distracts them or not is going to be the other thing. Like, if Karn can soak up some damage, I'm actually pretty okay with that. Oh! Ensnaring Bridge pitching Atraxa. Okay. I guess that does give them an out now. If they can combo off. They're sacrificing that. I think in their upkeep, I'll try to blow up the Gaia's Cradle, so at least it enters the battlefield tapped. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is in their upkeep, I'm going to Besaju the Gaia's Cradle, so if they want to cradle it away, so in their upkeep, we're going to tap this, make green mana, and we're going to Besaju away the Gaia's Cradle, so if they want to reclaimer it for another Cradle, it enters the battlefield tapped. Alright, so they are cradling it away, which is fine, because it means they get another Cradle, but it enters the battlefield tapped, and they can't use it this turn, and they're stuck with whatever they have here. Alright, I think that buys us a turn, so that might buy us a turn to be able to find a way out of this. Maybe. We'll see. 3 mana. Okay, Collector Oof. So the One Ring is off, which, I mean, is mostly okay. I'm assuming this means they're going to kill Karn. Yeah, okay. They are killing Karn. So unfortunately, my One Ring is slowly killing me. But they are tapped out, and I drew another Karn anyways. If I play this, this is 3 mana, that's 3 mana as well. I can... Alright. Play that. We'll tap this for 4 mana, go play another Karn. This can go get a Walking Ballista. And I can cast this for 12, which takes out a good chunk of their board, and they've got 1 card left. Yeah, we're just going to cast a big-ass Walking Ballista and see what happens here. Oh, shit. God damn it. Fucking Collector Roof and shit fucks me up all the time with Walking Ballista. I just punted this. God damn it. Every fucking time. I always forget that this affects creature or artifact creatures too. Okay, I'm dead. All they need is a payoff and I'm fucking dead. I totally fucked that up. If they have a natural order, I'm just dead. Like straight up. Or if they have a way to pump all these creatures, I'm just fucking dead. Craterhoof for mad, yeah. I punted that. I don't think there was a way for me to get out of that anyways. Good game, opponent. I punted that one into the fucking sun. Good game, good. Getting taken down by combo elves. It's at least good to see them again. Alright, good game, opponent. Good game. Alright, so initial impressions with the deck. It felt really good doing what it wanted to do, but I have to note this deck feels like it mulligans like shit. This whole deck is based off of synergy, and you're looking for a specific combination of cards and to have a threshold to take advantage of that mana, and without a ton of manipulation in your deck to be able to find things outside of the One Ring and some land tutors, you're really at the mercy of the top of your deck if you don't have at least 1 or 2 payoffs in your opening hand as well. So mulliganing to be able to have your specific combination of lands and at least 1 or 2 payoffs to be able to cast off of that mana means this deck really does mulligan like shit. It felt really bad mulliganing more than once. When I was testing, there were also multiple times where, like, if I got down to under 5, like, I basically just didn't function at all. That's also part of the reason why the One Ring is so important to this deck, to be able to refuel, because, as I said, you don't have any kind of card draw outside of the One Ring. You don't have any real manipulation outside of land tutors. So this deck very much is dependent on hoping that you have a good 7 or 6. You have to start mulliganing to 5 and you're in trouble. But other than that, like, it did exactly what it wanted to do, and it preyed on exactly what it's designed to prey on. It's designed to prey on these mid-rangey tempo decks that are trying to trade resources and end the game quickly by using Vexing Bauble, Disruptor Flute, these Staxy pieces to delay the game into the late game where your pure amount of mana is going to overwhelm your opponent. And a lot of times in those style decks, such as that Sultai Midrange deck, the Grixis Delver deck, they're already running on a low number of lands anyways because they're trying to play this tempo game. And being able to take out 2 of those lands at a time with Sowing Mycospawn typically just locks them out of the game at that point because they have so few resources to try to rebuild from. And if you have multiple, add in being able to blow up more lands or grab a Tabernacle when they have no lands, they're basically just locked out of the game at that point. And that's exactly the style of deck that this is built to prey on. And with Rescaminator being such a huge part of the meta, this is exactly the type of deck you want to be able to prey on that kind of thing. That being said, we also did see the flip side where any kind of fast aggro or fast combo deck is just going to steamroll this thing. The only real interaction you have is Vexing Bauble and Disruptor Flute to be able to stop combo, and you don't really have any good way to stop aggro other than hoping it is a low land deck and you can kind of cheese them out with a Tabernacle or something. And you even saw in that Elves matchup, the Tabernacle didn't matter. We had a Tabernacle and blew up their Gaia's Cradle, and they still just completely steamrolled us anyways. So you did get to see the good and the bad of exactly what this deck is supposed to be and exactly what will prey on this deck. That's kind of traditionally how these big mana decks have been in the past. They just absolutely steamroll mid-range control decks, but just completely fold to aggro and combo decks. So it literally fell exactly where you would expect this type of archetype to fall. Individual cards, though, I gotta say, Planar Nexus is absolutely fantastic. It enables everything crazy that this deck does. Sowing Mycospawn, never disappointed. I got to do the double land destruction thing that absolutely wrecked me in the past. And it even was able to, like, act as a silver bullet tutor sometimes to be able to grab stuff to screw with my opponent, like grabbing a Tabernacle when I needed it to, grabbing an Eye of Ugin or something to be able to set up to end the game the next turn. So the deck overall felt really good. One thing to note, though, going forward is in all of my testing, I did run into a lot of Nadu as I was trying to learn the ins and outs of the deck and the play pattern before actually filming with it, and talking with a bunch of those Nadu opponents. A lot of them are thinking that the meta is going to shift toward being very Nadu heavy because it has a good Rescaminator matchup from what everyone was telling me, and this deck is absolutely terrible against Nadu. I think I ended up going like 0-7 total over the course of testing with this deck against Nadu, and it just absolutely destroyed this deck, and it felt damn near unwinnable for the most part. So just something to kind of keep in mind if that really is where the meta is going, especially if we're looking at no bans until August. Once Grief goes, who knows what the meta is going to look like, and hopefully we don't have to wait until August for that to happen, but if it does, just do keep that in mind, that if you're going to see an uptick in Nadu, I wouldn't recommend this deck, but if we're sticking with the blue-black tempo mid-rangey style decks, then this would be a great choice to try to capitalize on that kind of meta. But overall, yeah, no, the deck was a ton of fun. It was great and to be the bad guy and blow up a ton of lands. So I hope you all had as much fun watching this as I did playing it. I will catch you all in the next one. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.